BMRforum.com and BMRodds.com. What is going on, boys? What is going on? Welcome back to episode number 34 of The Lobby. First and foremost, to my right-hand side, Sammy, you get a bad haircut or something? What's up with the hat?
No, I'm just smiling in profile. What the hell, man? Why is my hair always a topic of conversation?
First we go. Yep.
I got beautiful hair. We talk about it every week. You're just jealous because you don't got anything on your head. It's almost like JJ Gold talking about women. I mean, you can't talk about it enough.
Well, I just happened to notice it because you got a hat on, which you never have. So
fedora styling.
Oh, excuse me, fedora.
You know what? Every segment I'm gonna change up the fedoras now just to really throw you off.
Yep.
And I just happened to notice. Did you and Donnie color coordinate on the shirts with Greg
Yes.
here?
Yes.
I see that.
We
have a kinship.
Yeah.
We
have a kinship. Yep. Kinship.
Moving right along. Donnie right side. What's up, Donnie? How you doing?
Hey, feeling good. Love it. Week 3 NFL on deck here. And as we talked about before the show started, what a week. We've been waiting for this in college football. Last week, a bit of a bummer. This week, they're really making up for it. Should be a lot of fun starting right off the bat at noon all the way through the evening, man. Good stuff.
A lot of great games in college football. Let's jump right into that since you brought it up, Donnie. Sammy, with the college football, what is your weekend looking like? Who do you got? I know some great matchups taking place this weekend. So what do you want?
Yeah, like Donnie said, you got 6 matchups of 2 teams in the top 25. I mean, you could say it's headlining by 2 top 10 matchup with Ohio State versus Notre Dame, or you could look at Oregon versus Colorado, which is going to be the most watched game in maybe NCAA history. They said last week that game with Colorado State was the number 1 most streamed game on ESPN Plus.
I believe
on
it.
that app. So, and that game was at 10 p.m. Eastern time, didn't get over till 2:30 a.m. Eastern time, and still got all those views. So, I mean, Colorado is just a great program to watch, just a great social media, everything about it. I'm going to be on them this weekend, plus 20.5, their first true test. I mean, you could say they got tested last week. What a great come from behind win. Other than that, I'm also going to take Ohio State in their big matchup against Notre Dame. And like Donnie said, just going to be enjoying the other insanity top 25 matchups. Excited for college football.
Awesome. Well, good luck with those. Donnie, moving right along to you. What do you got for the weekend in college football? What do you like?
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it play out right at noon. Florida State and Clemson. Florida State struggling last week on the road against Boston College. Clemson hasn't been all that cracked up what they have been, let's just say, over the past decade or so. I do have a long shot ticket on Clemson to win the national championship. They need this game here. You can't have 2 ACC losses to start the game out of your first, two ACC games, which would be incredible for Clemson. I think they have a legitimate chance to pull off the upset. But if I'm looking at Colorado and Oregon, I'm thinking points here. I actually just did a video here with Bookmakers Review and lined up. I actually think the team total over for Oregon. And you know what it is? 45.5. 2 things go into this. Number 1, every team right now is putting a target on Colorado's back. Late in the game, if you're up, you're not going to stop scoring on them. And also, Travis Hunter not playing, one of the best cornerback prospects in college football. And hopefully he gets better over the next 3 weeks here and can get back onto the field. But I do think Oregon goes up and down the field. We'll see, though, because Colorado can do the same thing. And we're not talking about, as Sammy said, 3, 4, 7, or 14 points. You're getting 3 touchdowns in this game. You can get blown out and still cover the spread. I think we get points, but more from an Oregon direction here. That's the game. Again, is everybody looking forward to that game? Rightfully so.
It sounds definitely like it. And good luck with those picks, Donnie. Guys, moving along into Jeannie's pick for today. Inter Milan and Bayern Munich to both score a goal. And her shout out goes out to JDS for his form winning streak. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, all winners. So congratulations to JDS. And speaking about streaks, Donnie, how's that streak of fortune looking? I hear you got a few in a row.
Yeah, get to 3 and 4. It's hard to get past Thursdays, man. I'm just hoping to get a chance to survive Wednesday. 2 games I had won. I was the Philadelphia Phillies on Monday, and then Tuesday, I believe it was wasn't the Houston Astros. Who the team I had yesterday here? Anyway, beyond the point, it was a winner. Today, I have the Baltimore Orioles over the Houston Astros. They're up 1-0 in the bottom of the 6th inning right now. There are 2 runners on in the bottom of the 6th here with 2 outs for the Astros. The funny part about this is I have more tickets on the Astros to win the American League and the World Series than any other team in baseball. So theoretically, I'm rooting for the Astros because I want them to win. But at the same time, I picked the Baltimore Orioles to win this game. And lesson to be learned for the people out there. Regardless of who you cheer for, if you think the right move is to bet against a team you're rooting for, go ahead and do that. That's what I did with the Orioles today.
All right. And as the old saying goes, never bet with your heart. I say it all the time. Sammy, how's that? Sammy, what are you up to on the Streak of Fortune? What's the 1, 2, 3, 0? Oh.
Yeah, I got knocked out on Monday. Yep, I'm on the next week. We got a few more weeks to go.
0.
See if I can make it there. Yeah, there was only 3 people left on Wednesday. Last week, I don't think any of them made it to Friday.
Do you know what the good part about this is, too? Is because everybody, usually you get into a tournament like this, Survivor, you root for the other people to lose and get knocked out. Right. You don't have to do that anymore. Anybody who finishes 5-0, it could be 37 people or one person there. You don't have to root for anybody to get knocked out. Everybody can cash in. That's what's fantastic about it.
Yes, it is. If you guys have not already jumped into the Streak of Fortune, make sure you go on Twitter and follow us at BMR Reviews, and you will be able to jump in to that Streak of Fortune. Sammy, what do you got for us on the diamond for today? A lot of day games, a lot of games already in progress. Surprisingly, normally there's some night games. Very surprising that most all the action is either already started or going to be starting here shortly during the day.
Yeah, nothing for me on the baseball side. Really more of watching tennis right now. I got Sofia Kenin going. And then late tonight, I got Fernandez, Kudermetova, and then Taylor Townsend, who's just about to start her matchup on the tennis side.
All right, Donnie, what do you got for us on the diamond?
Yeah, heavy favorite. And again, you don't really want to lay too much chalk, but I really like Steele on the mound tonight against Pittsburgh. He's been absolutely phenomenal this season. He's laying roughly a -175 price. But if you're looking for something a little bit more palatable here for his side, how about St. Louis to beat Milwaukee today? Yesterday I had Milwaukee. That was the one I had. It was Milwaukee to beat St. Louis, which was the victory for me. So I'm going to go ahead and take St. Louis today. Short price, -115 or so. I think they have the better pitcher on the mound today. I think Hauser gets hit. St. Louis picks up the victory. So one heavy juice game in the Cubs, one lower juice side here for St. Louis.
All right, good luck with those. And guys, week number 2 in the NFL, what were your highlights? You know, one of the biggest surprises for me, as I said, I believe last week, a lot of my family out here in Vegas is big Rams fans. So good job on them. Backdoor cover on that last second field goal. I know some of you guys got beat with San Francisco. I think I called the Rams last week on the show. Amazing backdoor cover there. Sammy, how was your week number 2?
I had a great week 2. It was actually very profitable, a lot better than week 1. I think we had 2 of the worst Monday Night Football games of all time, which is going to hopefully lead to 2 fantastic matchups, or at least on paper going into this Monday night. And then, like I've been saying for the last 2 months, Deshaun Watson is absolute trash. They didn't really beat the Bengals. The Bengals are kind of not really that good right now, especially with Joe Burrow not being 100% healthy. And I think you're definitely seeing that. So Cleveland defense stepped up week 1, but they proved it week 2. They're trash. Deshaun Watson is trash. Pittsburgh really isn't that good either. And then how about that Giants comeback? That was pretty exciting.
Yes,
I
it was.
took advantage. I did take a live bet on the Giants when they were coming back. And then obviously living in upstate, I have a lot of Giant fans. My dad's a Giant fan. So I guess happy for them to come back after a pretty ugly. They were down 60-0 when you combine week 1 and the first half of week 2. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, their offense sparked up. And then sadly, 2 plays to go, Saquon Barkley injures his ankles out 3-4 weeks. So, such an up and down emotional for Giant fans on that week 2.
Yes. Donnie, how was your week number 2?
It was enjoyable. Prop bets were decent over the weekend here. The things that I take a look at, and again, if we're talking about the Giants, I don't know what would happen if they lost that game to the Cardinals, who most people are picking maybe to get 3 wins on the season or less. And then you roll into a Thursday night game against one of the best teams in the NFL, open 0-3. That's when guys start to lose their jobs and everybody laughs at Daniel Jones. But he played wonderful in the second half, so you got to give him credit. Now, is he going to win Thursday night against San Francisco? I don't think so. It's him against an outrageously talented front seven and a banged-up Giants offensive line. But I think you're right on that. The interesting part for Cleveland here, Sammy, was they were going to win that game. If Nick Chubb doesn't get hurt, I truly believe they win that football game. They would be 2-0 with 2 divisional victories, and now Nick Chubb's knee explodes. What do you expect out of the Browns the rest of the way? Oh, yeah, they're going to lean on Deshaun Watson. No, they're not. It's going to get ugly in Cleveland. That guy next year is going to make $64 million. At least that's going to be his cap hit next year with all that guaranteed money finally starting to, rule the roost at this point. But it was an interesting week. Weeks 1 and weeks 2, very difficult to bet in the NFL. Weeks 3, you should know a lot about these football teams and should have a little bit more acumen when betting them as well.
And speaking of week number 2, congratulations to our top 5 in Sammy right up there.
Lost the tiebreaker.
6-1, Sammy. That sucks. That the way you lost that, but 6-1 You got to pat yourself on the back for that record.
Yeah, actually, in reference to it, it's kind of funny because Bobby, you came in 7th place at 5-2.
Yes, I did.
Donnie, you came in 27th place at 5-2. So
pretty crazy there.
Sometimes it's not about winning games; it's about winning your most confident picks.
Yep.
Which is what Donnie touched on last week, as you just see. Bobby and Donnie, same 5-2, 7th versus 27th place. So you really got to win those top 7, 6, 5 confident picks. It's huge.
And just a
quick. I did have the Niners yesterday, so that field goal kick in the contest cost me right there. So, and I know a lot of people probably had the Rams, which benefited from that as well.
And just a quick shout out to our top 5 in week number 2. Number 1, Achilles. Number 2, Kids to Feed. Number 3, Big J. Number 4, our Colonel. I always screw up his name. Alino23. I screw up his username. My apologies to our number 4. Now, number 5. To the Nines. Congratulations to the top 5 in our NFL Pick'em contest. Rolling right into week number 3, guys. Sammy, briefly, what is your run your pool? What is your top 7 for week 3?
Yeah, so starting at my number 7 most confident pick, I'm going with the gamble, but I like this pick. I like the Vikings at home versus the Chargers. We're going to touch base on both of those teams in a couple minutes on the next segment, but this is a must-win game for both teams. You can't go 0-3. The stats are out there. Every year they talk about it. The Vikings don't necessarily have 2 bad losses, as they had a tough loss week 2 against the Eagles, where Chargers have 2 losses that they should have won. So in 2 high-powered offenses, I think you could definitely take the over in this game. But if I'm getting Vikings at a pick at home, I think that they can definitely match the Chargers and then give them that home field advantage. I'm definitely taking the Vikings. Number 6 overall is I'm going with the Vegas minus 2.5 at home to Pittsburgh. Again, Pittsburgh had -7 yards of offense in the 4th quarter and still managed to win that football game based on a defensive touchdown and the first play of the game, and then a defensive touchdown in the middle of that 4th quarter. But overall, Pittsburgh didn't win that game. More as Cleveland lost that game. And I think that Vegas offense against the Bills in the 1st quarter, they marched right down the field. And then the Bills' energy came alive, their first home game. I think some of that home energy, Oakland traveling East Coast and then early kickoff, definitely always affects those West Coast teams. I think Vegas back at home against Pittsburgh, I'm going to take them minus 2.5. And then for my number 5, I like Seattle minus 6. Washington at number 4 plus 6.5 against the Bills. I think the Bills can win that game, but I like Washington to keep it close. In at number 3 and number 2, the 2 big favorites, I think Kansas City is going to open up against the Bears, and Dallas should have no trouble against Arizona. And then at my number 1 pick, I do have the Rams at +2. I'm kind of banking on Joe Burrow potentially not playing, or even if he does play, he's clearly not 100%. Their offense isn't putting up any numbers, and I think the Rams can maybe squeak out a road Monday night win there So that's my number 1 confident pick.
All right. Speaking of the Rams, guys, and unfortunately, if you were on San Francisco in that game last week, like I said, a horrible last-second loss, horrible last-second bad beat. But moving forward, guys, make sure you go ahead and send us. Every Tuesday, we're going to be posting on the forum, asking for you guys to send us your bad beats of the week. So if you had the 49ers, that would definitely qualify as one of those bad beats. Send us the pictures on Twitter. Send them on the forum. We will be going over them. The top 5 bad beats of the week will each receive 25 bowler coins, guys. So definitely make sure you get those pictures, get those bet slips in, for those unfortunate, bad beats each and every week. We'll at least get you some bowler coins. Donnie, what is your week number 3 looking like in Run Your Pool?
Yeah, the good part about it is we make these picks middle of the week, but the good part is once you hit submit, you can always go back and change them. The reason why I'm bringing that up is my favorite play of the week is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals at home laying 1.5 to the Rams. Now, I don't like that pick at all if Joe Burrow doesn't play, but if he does play, which means he's healthy enough, I like the fact that they're covering less than a field goal, and it's at minus 1.5 currently. I took that. Game number 6, or should I say 6th ranked game in this one. The Dallas Cowboys minus 12.5. Donnie, you can't take that many points on the road. Have you seen that defense for the Dallas Cowboys right now and how it's performing? underperforming. This is not a very good Arizona team. So even though you're laying that many points, don't be surprised if this game is midway through the third quarter and it's like 24-3 Dallas and they hold on for this one. I think they absolutely hammer Arizona in this game. I'll lay the 12.5. Seattle at home -5.5 against Carolina. I haven't liked anything that I've saw out of the offense from Carolina. And also keep in mind, Carolina playing on a Monday night football game, then going out to the West Coast and taking on the 12s there. I think that's going to be a touchdown victory for Seattle. Minnesota at home, as I talked about Sammy. I love it. I'm not so sure Minnesota shouldn't be a field goal favorite in this one. What have we seen out of the Chargers? Getting close games, lose it. I think the Vikings have enough firepower and offense to overtake that defense, which is so talented for the Chargers, but just doesn't play well. I'll take that game. And also, the Buffalo Bills on the road against Washington, -6.5, which means they have to win by 7. I believe they do so. You take a look at Washington last week on the road in elevation, fighting all the way through and coming back. A lot of energy was used. I think Buffalo bounced back to their winning ways with an easy victory over Vegas on Sunday, and I think that continues. Also, I like the Detroit Lions. I'll lay the 3.5, but also waiting for Amon St. Brown to see his late in the week practice reports. Didn't practice today. If he gives it a go, I think Detroit wins that game. Keep in mind, Atlanta, both of those wins were at home. Now they go on the road. And also Detroit feeling a little bit of a must win after letting one slip away against Seattle last week. And also, I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns at home against the Tennessee Titans. Now, granted, you say, Donnie, why are you going with that? It's a number 1 pick, which means 1 point win or lose here. I'm going to wait to see how that practice report turns out. They just get Kareem Hunt. I think Cleveland will handle their business at home. I'm not that high on Tennessee here.
All right, Donnie, good luck with those. And guys, there are some teams that actually have really surprised me, and I'm sure surprised you as well, that are struggling right now. Real quick, let's go through this list of a couple teams. Sammy, we'll start with you. Do you think these teams are going to continue to struggle, or do you think they'll eventually find their winning ways and right this ship? So we'll start off with the Vikings. Sammy, what do you think with the Vikings? Do you think they're going to keep struggling here, or are they going to turn it around?
Yeah, Donnie and I both touched up on it in our picks. We both think that they're going to bounce back. This is the pivotal matchup. Them and the Chargers, both 0-2. The loser of that is 0-3. We know what the stats are. Plus, if the Chargers go 0-3 in that tough division, it's going to be a fight to somehow come back in that division. Vikings, somewhat easier of a division, but still, to go 0-3, have another loss at home, it's going to be a battle back. So I do like to see the Vikings on their way up and the Chargers on their way down.
All right. What do you think of the Bengals at 0-2?
I am not on board with the Bengals right now, especially because the biggest question is Joe Burrow's health. So if if he's not playing, they're going to continue to lose. If he's playing at 85%, they're not winning. So I am not buying them. I'm selling them right now.
All right, Donnie, over to you for the Vikings. I'm sure you feel kind of the same way, but real quick, what's your opinion on that? 0-2.
Vikings are in an interesting spot this year. I don't know if they're going to recover from 0-2 and make the playoffs, but then again, I didn't think they were going to win that division anyway. I actually thought the Packers and also the who's the team I'm missing here? Packers and Detroit, were the two best teams in that division overall. But they have a fun offense, and as long as they don't trade Kirk Cousins, it's a great team to back with total situations. Justin Jefferson's going to get his. Kirk Cousins is going to throw for a lot of yards. I just don't know if it means victories. And then again, for the Bengals here, they started 0-2 last year and had a very good season. But this year's difference is, yes, the team is talented, but if your quarterback is hobbling and at any given time that calf can give out, that's the same reason why I look at the Miami Dolphins at 2-0 and say, man, I love it. It's awesome. I hope it continues, but Tua Tagovailoa's concussion is probably right around the corner, so you have to take flight in that. But if I do think they win and bounce back this weekend, I'm not giving up hope on the Bengals. They're too good to be a terrible team. But then again, when you lose your all-world quarterback, how good can you possibly be as is? I'm not giving up just yet because I hope Burrow can stay healthy.
All right, thank you. Sammy, over to you for the Chargers, 0-2. Surprise, not surprise? Going to right the ship? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I already touched on them. I'm not on board with them. I think they lose this weekend, go 0-3, right, and then they have a battle back in that division. If they lose this week, they might be looking at 5-6 wins for the whole season, which is pretty surprising because they were over under, I think, probably 10 to start the season. But 0-3, they'll be lucky to get 6 wins.
And the Denver Broncos again at 0-2, surprisingly.
Yeah, not really that surprised with Denver. Man, such drama in that front office.
There's a lot going on
there. Russell Wilson not living up to that hype. A pretty bad loss last week when you really break it down. They were up 21-3. They had the ball, and then they threw an interception, which led to Washington coming back just a little bit before the end of the first half, and they carried all that momentum in the second half. Then out of nowhere, they hit a 50-yard triple tap, ball bouncing in the end zone, Hail Mary, and then they miss a 2-point conversion. Kind of sums up Russell Wilson. Can't finish it from the 2-yard line, right? Can't win a Super Bowl, can't come back that way. So overall, I'm not surprised with Denver, and I'm not thinking that they're going to be coming back anytime soon.
All right, Donnie, and your thoughts on these two, Chargers and Broncos?
Yeah, the Chargers are real disappointing. I mean, dating back to last year, getting beat in the playoffs by having like a 3-touchdown lead on the road to Jacksonville, blow that. And then what do they do the first 2 games? Blow lead after lead after lead. It's not really about the players at this point. They have enough offense and enough really good players to be a successful team, but something is clearly on a disconnect with the head coach here. I don't know if they can recover. Looking at the Denver Broncos, I never expected much out of them, but if you were to tell me the Denver Broncos to start the season are going to get Vegas at home and Washington at home, they should be 2-0. They were favored to win both of those football games and lost both of those games. And, going on the road to take on the Miami Dolphins and possibly 0-3. And you're right about that. There's a lot of rocky relationships in that building in Colorado right now because the reason being is all we keep hearing is, well, Russ needs to act, not worry about his off-the-field stuff, his on-the-field stuff, and all his team Russ in the building. And once you get there with Sean Payton, he's going to fire the entire staff around Russell Wilson. It just seems like that's a marriage waiting for a divorce, and who knows? And you start talking about 03, 04, 05 on the season, divorces happen in the NFL quite quickly.
Yes, and certainly not last but not least, the Pats, Sammy.
Yeah, the Pats are in a tough division, especially if Tua stays healthy. So them being 0-2, they have a must-win this weekend playing the Jets, where obviously with Rodgers out, Zach Wilson. Are you going to give Zach Wilson a pass because he threw 3 interceptions against the number 1 defense in the league? Maybe. But if he can't win against the Patriots or if he can't perform this week against the Patriots, man, Zach Wilson, he's got to go. But the Patriots on the other side, they're in a must-win. They got to beat Zach Wilson and the Jets. They can't pass the Jets, then their season's pretty much over.
And Donnie, the Pats, real quickly.
Yeah, I don't know if they, recover because I expected them probably to be the 4th team in the division, but that's just the product, as I like to say, of their environment. They lost to 2 really good football teams, and both of those games, driving late in the game to either win the game or tie the football game up, they weren't able to do that. But they are getting a gift here with Zach Wilson at quarterback, and as Sammy says, look, if you're the Jets, you're giving him one more chance here. Now, granted, he played 2 really good defenses in the first 2 weeks. And again, the defense is no slouch for the Patriots, but you don't get bonus points for hanging around in the NFL. This is a team that had Super Bowl aspirations that is completely floundering. He's going to get one more game. They lose this one, he's no longer going to be their starting quarterback. So I do think the Patriots do win and turn it around. But the Patriots are a solid football team. They just play every single week. It seems like a Super Bowl contender.
All right, and guys, if you do have a ticket that you won it on a last-second field goal, you did something great to actually win a big bet for yourself, make sure you go on Twitter, make sure you go to the forum, post that on our Ticket of the Week contest, guys. It's going to be running each and every week through the Super Bowl. So on Fridays, on Twitter, we're going to be asking our Twitter followers and our forum users as well to send us your best bet slip of the week. If you think it's worthy of your Ticket of the Week, guys, go ahead and send it in. Winners will be receiving $50 for sending us that best ticket, and we'll also feature that on our social media platforms, guys. So get those in. Sammy, I know you briefly touched on tennis earlier. How's the tennis threat looking? What's the record? What do you have for the rest of the week on the court?
Yeah, so we're 714, 583. Right now, they got a Masters 1,000 in Guadalajara for the women. So right now, I'm watching Sofia Kenin versus Ostapenko. I got Kenin plus 3 games. She won the first set, and now they're in a tough battle in the second set. But as far as the spread goes, that's looking good. You got the Lavar Cup that starts in a couple days, and then you're starting the Beijing China swing. You do have 2 men's tournaments right now that are in China, which stinks from a watching standpoint because all those matches are at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., all overnight matches. But the Guadalajara, it's in Mexico, so that's prime time. So that's what I'm watching this week.
All right, Sammy, thank you. And good luck to everyone who follows Sammy's tennis thread. Hopefully you guys make some money. Guys, let's jump on the opposite side of the struggling teams. And let's go to some teams that are 2-0 that maybe should not be 2-0. Start off with you, Sammy, with the – Saints and Dolphins. I mean, they're both 2-0. Do you think it's going to continue?
Yeah, in reference to the Dolphins, I definitely think it's going to continue. The number one variable being Tua's health and if he gets a concussion, but so far no major hits. And they have arguably, a top 3 wide receiver in Tyreek Hill, wherever you decide to rank him. Obviously, Jalen Waddle there as well. So if Tua stays healthy, they have one of the top offenses in the league, and definitely some easy division matchups with the Jets in New England. They obviously already beat New England this past Sunday, so they could definitely going to rack up some wins there. In reference to the Saints, they have 2 ugly wins. I'm not crazy impressed with Derek Carr, but hey, in the NFL, if you get the ugly wins, sometimes that's what gets you over the edge. That brings you from an 8-win team to a 9-win team, from 9-win to 10-win. So they're finding ways to win right now, but you're only 2 weeks in. So we'll see what happens in the next coming weeks.
All right, Donnie, same question to you, Saints and Dolphins.
Yeah, Dolphins are good, and they're going to go as far as Tua Tagovailoa can stay healthy here. So if I say Tua stays healthy, that winning streak will continue, and they'll be a formidable opponent throughout the season. The interesting one is the Saints here. I actually took them to win 10-plus games this year, and I do think they will. Not because I think the Saints are a fantastic football team. They might have the easiest schedule I've ever seen in the NFL, where you're going to stumble into double-digit victories, which, again, winning ugly still counts. The Tennessee Titans, maybe they're a little bit better than what we thought they were. That's a win on opening day at home. You go on the road and beat a rookie quarterback on Monday Night Football. That's another win there. So 8 more wins to go to get the double digits. I think it'll continue, not because I think they're great, just because I love their schedule.
All right. And Sammy, over to you. Commanders and Bucks, both 2-0. What do you think about those two?
Yeah, in reference to the Commanders, it is good that they're 2-0, but they did beat Arizona, and they had a strong come-from-behind victory against Denver that they almost blew with that Hail Mary. The thing I look at with Washington is their division. So they're 2-0, which is good, but so is Dallas, and Philly's 1-1. But once you have to play those teams, you're going to have to find a way to go 1-1 against both. If you manage to go 1-3 or even 0-4, then that start is going to be for nothing. So I think once you get into the division matchups, you're going to see if the Commanders are a real team or if they are a pretender team. You might see it this week when they're playing the Bills, who obviously they're a 7-point underdog. See how they perform there. In reference to the Bucks, I do think they're for real. I'm happy that we have Baker. Is this the Baker we've been waiting on for 5 years? And again, they have 2 of the top wide receiver combo in the league with Mike Evans and Godwin. And those are 2 strong wide receivers, and they're going to carry that offense. You got the rookie running back there that's starting to put things together. I'm happy for Baker, and I think the Bucks are for real in a weaker division as well.
All right. And then last but certainly not least, Donnie, what's your take on these two?
Yeah, they both got 2 wins. I would be surprised if either one of those gets a win this weekend because they're really leveling up in opponents. Number one, the Eagles are going to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football with an extended bye. Since the Eagles played last Thursday, that's an advantage for them. And then coming to town against the Commanders here, obviously, are the Buffalo Bills. It's a nice little story to start the season. Look, Washington has a lot of talent, just up to Sam Howell to try to put it all together. And they look like they were going to get thumped in Denver, but credit them for coming all the way back and winning that football game. Tampa's playing a little bit with lightning in the bottle right now. We'll see what we get out of Mayfield, but the talent is there overall. I just don't know how well it's going to hold up. I'm not a big fan of Todd Bowles as the head coach, and certainly Baker Mayfield at any given time can give those away. But they got measuring stick games this weekend. If you can tell me that the Bucs are going to beat the Eagles on Monday Night Football and maybe Washington can hang around with Buffalo, that may change my scenario. But we'll find out a lot about those 2 2-0 football teams this weekend.
All right, the last 2-0 football team I want to touch on real quick, the Atlanta Falcons, Sammy.
Yeah, so they're winning ugly as well, too. But, they got their rookie quarterback with Desmond Ridder. They got the rookie with Bijan Robinson. But, they're putting wins together. They're, again, in that division with the Bucs, so they're a pretty weak division. Those divisional matchups is going to separate the team that wins it from a team that just misses out. I don't think you're going to see 2 or 3 teams out of that division. The favorite is going to be 2 or 3 teams out of the NFC East for sure. With the Cowboys, Eagles, and then maybe Washington flirting around there. But it might be a division winner out of that South division between the Bucs and the Falcons right now. Actually, and the Saints, right?
And Donnie, the last one to you, Falcons.
Yeah, I like what the Falcons are doing. I'm really impressed by them. And again, they have quite a good schedule here where they can wind up maybe in that 7th or 6th wild card position. They got a tough game this weekend. And again, another measuring stick. You go on the road and beat Detroit here and turn out 3-0. I'm really changing my opinion on the Atlanta Falcons with a legitimate chance to win the NFC South. I'm happy with what I see. I think they'll be competitive. Bijan looks every bit of that top 8 pick, which they picked him with. I'm excited for the Falcons here to watch them week to week. I like what they got going on.
All righty. And guys, you want some free money? Another free shot at $50 with our Sunday touchdown lock, guys. Pretty simple. Go on Twitter. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you retweet the post and favorite the post. You'll be seeing it. each and every week. You just pick a player to score a touchdown at greater than plus 300, at 300 or greater odds to score a touchdown. You must include the odds and the sportsbook you found it in your reply. And we will pick one. If you get it, $50. If there's more than one winner, the player with the longest odds score selected will be the person chose for the prize. So make sure you jump on Twitter and join us for that. A lot of free money given out here at BMR, Sammy. Speaking of free money, how's everything with the Eliminator looking?
Yeah, Eliminators so far so good. You know, there's always a couple upsets, but no major upsets. This week, you got 6 or 7 strong options to be there. So this is one of those weeks where you have to go, do I save the team for later or do I save them if I don't advance them? You know, you're looking at Kansas City, you're looking at San Francisco. I personally am not taking Kansas City in either one of my entries, but I am taking San Francisco home to the Giants. You know, quick turnaround, especially with Saquon going out. Now the Giants have to scramble for their backup running back. You know, Saquon is someone that you put your defensive coordinator, you put your defensive attack and you ready for him. Now that he's not one of your weapons, you're going to force Danny Dimes to beat you. If Danny's going to beat you, then Danny's going to beat you. My other pick this week is the Jags home to Houston. It's one of those situations where how often can you take the Jags with full confidence for an eliminator pick? So I do have 2 entries. Both of them have advanced. I did get fucked in 2022, taking the Jags home to Houston. So I'm hoping that fool me once, shame on you. Fool me once, shame on me. So I got the Jags in San Fran. I'm saving Kansas City for later.
All right. Good luck with that. And Donnie, I want to get your opinion on this. I know you're a big Twitter guy.
He's got eliminator.
Yes.
By the way, the Eliminator has been so easy for the first 2 weeks. I absolutely love it. And it looks easy again this week. And again, matching color shirts, me and Sam, matching thought process. I went right away and said, no, I love Thursday Night Football. I love the home teams. No Saquon Barkley, sign me up immediately for San Francisco. I don't mind burning him because I'm going to move on until next week here. Going 3 straight weeks, the first 3 weeks here, I'm fine. No sweat victories. That's what I want. I'm with it, man. San Fran.
All right. Good luck. Good luck. And Donnie, I know you're a big Twitter guy.
Yes.
Let's just get your opinion real quick on this. They're going to be charging users now. Supposedly Elon wants to come out with this where they're going to be charging, users monthly. They already charge about $8 a month for their premium features. You know, me personally, I'm not a big Twitter guy. I'm more of a Facebook, Reddit, TikTok guy. Never really got into the whole Twitter thing. I know you are, will you continue to use it? I just personally think that the only people that are going to be really utilizing it after he starts to charge a monthly fee are going to be people, content creators, and so on and so forth. What do you think?
Well, here's the thing for me with Twitter, like in the business that I'm in, obviously handicapping business and doing daily content, it's invaluable. I've said this for a long time. The best instrument for handicapping that I've ever seen in my entire life is actually Twitter. You are getting real-time information just as fast as the books are. Now, also, there's another feature for Twitter. Now, I had the original verification. Now, I paid $8. I don't care about the verification. Right. That's meaningless to me. But the most important tool in my life is TweetDeck here that rotates all day long on 5 to 6 columns here that I've set up with all the information I need right in front of me. I would pay, and again, I hope Elon doesn't watch this, $100 a month for that feature. It's invaluable in my life for what I do. And when it looked like they were messing around with it over the summer and maybe taking it away, I didn't know because I don't use regular Twitter. I don't go on the Twitter app and just look on my own thing. I never go on that. I only use TweetDeck. So for $8 a month, it is absolutely invaluable for me. I love it there, but it will hurt usership because some people just won't pay for anything. But from my vantage point, I actually pay for a lot of websites that I use sports content-wise. Even if they're free, I donate to them because I appreciate the value of what they're giving me to my day-to-day. So $8 for me for Twitter for a month, an absolute steal for what I do.
All right, Sammy, what's your take on it? Are you a big Twitter guy? Are you going to continue to use it if they charge?
Yeah, so in reference to Twitter, I live on Twitter for daily news.
Or X. I'm sorry, Elon, X, not Twitter.
But I don't post as much. I actually tried. I tried every single day for 2 years, a couple of years ago, posting every single baseball pick, football pick, basketball pick, tennis pick. Tried to get a follower. I couldn't do anything. It was just like when I tried Vine. It's just like when I tried YouTube. Either you can go viral or you can't. I definitely put the effort out there. I love making videos, as you guys know. but unfortunately,
you're great
I
at
just
it.
wasn't popular. And everyone tries to be famous on and posting
Social
pics.
media.
And some people can, and some people can't. Unfortunately, I can't. So I am a Twitter user, an X user. I'm not as much of a poster or that people follow, but I definitely am on it. I actually looked on my phone. You could see your daily use onto it. I'm about 45 minutes, on Twitter a day throughout the day.
Okay. And then just moving on to some more tragic news. That football fan that was killed at the Pats Dolphins game. He unfortunately was struck twice, and then he ended up later dying at the hospital. But supposedly, from what I'm reading, he died of a medical condition. But I'm sure it was aspirated by those punches. What, if anything, Sammy, do you think is going to happen to the guy who punched him? Are they going to be charging him with murder? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's different levels of murder. I think that's third-degree murder, where there was no intent
something
to do
like
it.
that. Yeah.
The guy's got to be charged because he was involved in a fight. There was hundreds of cameras around, and the guy died. Whether he died directly from the impact or he died from
I don't think it matters.
Pre-existing conditions, that's still death. I expect Robert Kraft to step in to make sure that family is taken care of in the future. And I just don't get it. Maybe that's why I love watching games at home. I don't like going to bars as much. I'm a fan of the Cowboys. If you're a fan of the Giants or the Eagles and they beat the Cowboys, I'm internally mad. I'm not wanting to kill you or get into a fight.
Right.
I don't get it. Obviously, there's alcohol involved, and maybe there's women involved that are screaming or this or that. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I hope everything, negative can go against that person that got into a fight. And I hope the family of the victim is taken care of. I'm sure they're going to sue the stadium and get a big settlement.
I'm sure.
I just don't get it. And I know we talked about it. Donnie, you like to watch games at home as well. But, seeing videos like that deters people from wanting to go to games. I'd rather watch it at home. I'm in my own environment. I don't got to deal with the drunk nonsense.
Exactly. Or just don't get involved with it. I mean, I've been to games where people are yelling at you, screaming at you over a bunch of stuff, and, just ignore it, the best you can. Donnie?
Yeah, I think another thing, too, is that if you're a road team, don't wear your team's
exactly.
jersey.
Yeah.
You're just – I get it.
You're asking for trouble.
I get it. I'm a Cowboy fan. I don't want to go to Giant Stadium without it. But
exactly,
it's just gonna
I'm
putting a target on my back for people to come after, and unless you want it. But yeah, Donnie, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because the degenerates in the society usually win out. But back in the day, like I grew up in the times where Veteran Stadium 700 level, where when you got into a fight, you just got walked out of the stadium and you came back next week and you could fight again and do the same things. But now you have to understand, we live in a technological age where everything is on camera. And also with social media, you want to fight at a football game, your face will be there, your face will be viral, and your employer will see that as well. You got to be an idiot to act like a fool now in public anywhere, whether it's in front of your house, down the street, at the store. You are on camera all the time. And I can never understand, like, let me get drunk and have some beers and cause a fist fight at a football game over some meaningless, I should say, nonsense here. But people still do it, and they're always going to get in trouble. That's just the human life right now. You go out, act like a fool. Now, in the back in the day, you didn't pay for it. Now you're paying for it.
Yes, you definitely do. And Sammy, you touched on it, alcohol sales. Alcohol has probably got a lot to do with a lot of the fights and a lot of the commotion at games. Surprisingly, Sammy, I read this stat, or I posted this stat earlier today of which NHL fans drink the most. Surprisingly, 1.8 average drinks at a Rangers game. You're a big Ranger fan. I'm sure you've been to games before. Surprisingly, for New York in general, that number seems really low to me. What's your take on that? You think I'm really surprised actually
yeah, 100%. Seeing that. Yeah, I actually didn't see the thread. So before the show, when we were talking, when you told me about it, I would have thought that the Rangers would have been right in the middle, more towards the upper class. I mean, you got to think Madison Square Garden is one of the top stadiums in the country. So they have sold out crowds more often than not. And being in New York City, being able to take the train. I mean, I personally can take a train from Rensselaer, which is 25 minutes from my house, directly to Penn Station. I go day drinking all day. I go to the game, have some more drinks. I take the train home to sober up. And then I get home at 2 a.m. and then I just drive home or whatever. But I mean, that's what a lot of people do. They go from Poughkeepsie, they go from Albany, they go from wherever. They take the train down, they take the train back. So them being last place is actually pretty surprising. I mean, again, their stats for everything. I don't know
Maybe
if
because
that's
the
a good thing or a
price.
bad thing.
What's the price on those bad boys?
Yeah, I think they're about $12
Man.
the last time I went to a game too.
Well, the average spent is actually only $24.30 with those 1.8 drinks a game.
Yeah, so maybe that's right. Maybe prices are lower in Chicago and Toronto and Tampa, and maybe they're higher in New York. Maybe that's a variable. Because look at the Islanders and the Devils are 3 out of the 4 lowest.
Right.
So maybe it's the tri-state area of raising their prices in comparison to all other prices. That could be it. That could be it.
Yep.
That very well could be it, guys. But if you want some baller coins, guys, make sure you head over to Twitter, head over to Instagram, follow us on Twitter at BMR Reviews, on Instagram, BMR_review. And you guys have a wonderful week number 3 in the NFL, and we will catch you guys on the forum.
See ya.
See you guys.